Okay, let's first talk Waterside. And what you have here is basically, if you're not familiar at all or even somewhat familiar, you have one piece of one suburb. The piece of the suburb that's a part of is called Lakewood Ranch, Florida. And what Lakewood Ranch is part of as one more layer down is Sarasota, Florida. It's the northeast section of the Sarasota, Florida metro in the state. So Southwest Florida. That's why any of this matters at all. Okay, let's step back up, I guess, and let's talk Lakewood Ranch, Florida. That is no ordinary suburb here. This is Master Plan USA, 30, 40 plus total communities. It's been ranked on tons and tons of lists for all kinds of different awards, but one of them being overall #1 for multi-generational in the United States, I think. So interesting spot, both living, working, and playing. And what Waterside is, which is the subject of this segment, is one district within that suburb. And that context, once you understand what that context is that I just went through, then this part is now more meaningful at a micro level. And you have a couple distinct benefits at that level, in my opinion. One of those, just the obvious one, are the lakes. And, hence its namesake. It's important to talk about the lakes here because a lot of communities, in my experience, are more like retention ponds in Florida. They are lakes, but they're functional lakes. For that kind of rain capture, and then they add some aesthetic beauty. These are different than that. These are large bodies of water. Not large like Michigan-wise, but large for Florida. If you're not going to be in the Gulf of Mexico, these give you a very different kind of aesthetic when it comes to how they weave around the communities and the communal amenities. So there's a lot more homes that are on the water that aren't like on an echo across from your neighbor. And then when they build the downtowns and all these kind of other things they can do, then you have these just beautiful lakes that you can walk around. They do water taxis on them and all kinds of stuff like that. So that's important. Secondly, and probably one of the most meaningful, if not overall the most meaningful, is where Waterside sits, both to Sarasota itself and to Lakewood Ranch itself. If you had to pick one district, they put Waterside for the first time in the Sarasota County section of Lakewood Ranch. Historically, the Sarasota General Metro, if you're not like really into that kind of research or not very familiar, it's a 2-county conversation. It's Sarasota, but that involves multiple cities. Englewood, Northport, Sarasota city limits. And then there's Manatee. And Manatee's its northern neighbor. Manatee, it covers Bradenton and Parish and this kind of thing. Well, Lakewood Ranch was 100% in Manatee County. That shows you where it's at in the state. It's northeast. When they built historically suburbs, they keep going further because that's where the land is, right? They would be more into Manatee County. Well, what they did with Waterside that was interesting, they went lower for the first time. So they had all the existing communities already built and they went under them. And the cool thing about that is one, the knock on the suburbs, or you get far from all the cool stuff about Sarasota. Right? You get further from downtown Sarasota and the beaches and the whole reason that anyone even cares where Lakewood Ranch is, right? It was Sarasota. So you get a little closer to that, right? You're 10-ish miles, 9, 10-ish miles to start. So it becomes feasible. It becomes not a 50-minute commute to the beach, right? Well, then secondly, the sneaky one is because they built it in Lakewood Ranch after Lakewood Ranch had started in 1995, then Lakewood Ranch was started probably not knowing it was going to be quite that large potentially. So, they built what was cool in the suburb around the existing homes, obviously. That's where the downtown was. That's where the streets made sense. That's where the grids were. Well, then Waterside goes below it, builds all its own stuff as well. But you also are close to all the things originally in Lakewood Ranch. So if you have a home in Waterside, you're not only close to downtown Waterside, the new one, but you're close to all the University Parkway stuff, University Town Center, all the new shopping districts there, but you're also not that far from downtown Lakewood Ranch either. So you're close to all of it. You get the best of the town and the best of the suburb individually. And the third, if you had to name another thing that's probably different here, historically it's been the luxury element. When Waterside came out and about, they were at a premium, and they were at a premium on both housing, luxury, and price. So it's changed a little bit, but that's also, you could get a level of house there that was hard to get on new construction in the current day and age before Waterside came about. So then you have, if that makes sense at all, you have, we sit here today, and you have basically a collection of communities and new construction home builders that surround communal amenities that they built in there. All right, my friends, that's a wrap for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please hit that subscribe button if you've not already done so. If you did enjoy it, just the best way to see all of our new releases. Again, my name is Adam Hancock, and we have a couple other interesting items if you want to get more involved. One of those is a newsletter. So we release about 2 newsletters a month. If you're on this email list, there's one in the middle of the month, one at the beginning. They're very different than anything you're gonna get on YouTube, and they're different from each other. Secondly, we have a free tools and guides tab on the website that has a plethora of relocation guides, analytical tools. We're gonna pour a lot more into that bucket as well, but you can have all of that at your access at thesunshinestateco.com. And finally, if you are in the real estate market, buying, selling, investing, new construction, does not matter. Now we're 20 years out, and we can assist you in any way. If you resonated with this kind of vibe of our content, our brokerage is even more unique than our YouTube, but they're really not in a silo from each other. So please, at the very least, vet that out independently through our website or grab a conversation with my broker, Tana, to see if we might be a good fit for you. I think you'd be surprised by kind of the format if you're used to the regular real estate industry. And most importantly, thank you so much for watching today's video. We'll see you on the next one.